the Bengals. We're walking like an Egyptian. It's the Nile River Valley. Of course we're walking like an Egyptian. It's Global 2.12. We're going to check out the Nile River Valley from the point of view of a historian, the point of view of a geographer, eventually the point of view of an anthropologist and everybody else too. But we're gonna keep this short and sweet today. It's an easy one. You should have learned about it way back in 6th grade. I mean, what's hard about this? Nile River Valley. Man, first thing we got to know. Well, let's take a look at it from a historical standpoint first. Point of view of a historian. Really struggling with the notes up there, huh? And I'm just going to shift over. Right, going to come over here. We're going to zip on over to the old slideshow action. Present that big boy. And here is the sort of historical point of view of the Nile River Valley. I mean, here's our timeline here. About 3,500 BCE. So this is roughly a direct overlap with the Ottoman civilization and the Mesopotamian civilization. So these river valley civilizations were all kicking at about the same time. And once again, in case you missed it the first couple times, in the Mesopotamian River Valley, in the Ottoman River, the Indus River Valley, the Ottoman Society, this was the Bronze Age, right? And whoop, there's the bell, but it ain't yours. This was the Bronze Age. And obviously the Egyptians, here's a bronze dagger, pretty well made, I must say. Like, that's a little bit nicer of an item than some of the little trinkets and things that we saw from these other cultures. I guess those Egyptians really wanted nice daggers. So they made tools and weapons out of bronze and other types of copper alloy. And this was sort of the tail end of the Neolithic Revolution coming into the Bronze Age. The other thing we should know is the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx were built during this early Nile River Valley civilization time period. So when we talk about the Great Pyramids, we talk about the Sphinx. I mean, you learn about this stuff when you're a little kid. These were moments, right? These were objects that came out of this moment in time. All right, perfect. So the historical standpoint, zipping back to the notes, pretty straightforward. Right, what are we really looking to know here from a historical standpoint? You're looking at about 3,500 BCE, right? This Nile River Valley, the ancient Egyptians, we will call it, ancient Egypt. From about 3,500 BCE to about 300 BC. Okay. And that's about all we really got to delve out of that. The Bronze Age. Again, repetitive information, especially with the Egyptians. They had bronze weapons. This was a society, I mean, we could probably already tell this was going to be a little bit more vicious, right? They're not making little trinkets and things. They're making weapons out of bronze. So we can kind of infer as we go forward that perhaps this ancient Egyptian civilization is going to be a little bit more, dangerous, right? Or at least their mindset's going to be a little bit more warlike in some of the ways that they interpret things. Okay. So there's the ancient Egyptians with their bronze weapons during the Bronze Age. Very, very straightforward. Now we're going to shift back over to the old slideshow. And again, this is really easy stuff. It's not sort of stretching outside of what you'd probably learn in like 6th grade. So this is kind of recap stuff. The geography of the Nile River. Well, the Nile is in northern Africa. Okay, northern Africa. And I've got a picture of it over here on the left. Here's the sort of what is modern day Israel. And here is where northern Africa sort of starts here, this area of like the Middle East. And we see, woo, there is this Nile River Valley, which you can kind of see from outer space. bright green through the desert. Can't miss it. All right. And the Nile is the longest river in the world. There's a little painting over here with a little pyramid sitting next to the Nile. And of course, the Nile, geographically, you've got that whole idea of flooding again, right? The flooding, the floodplain of the Nile would allow for silt deposits, and the silt deposits would allow for fertile land to be developed for the use of agriculture. So, super, super basic here. Just keeping it real easy for you, which is not a bad thing. We can have an easy one here or there. This is basically sixth grade review. Shift back over. What kind of notes do we want? Thinking like a geographer. It's going to be the same basic stuff. Again, we start to see that we have some enduring issues, especially with regards to geography. Nile River is in northeastern Africa. And you have the flooding. So this is an enduring issue. Flooding allows for silt deposits. And the silt deposits then lead to increased agricultural production. So food, worrying about food and food security, obviously a primary concern. These societies develop in these river valleys to address that concern. Boom, suddenly coming out of the Neolithic Revolution, people settled down in these areas, really started to develop the agriculture in these areas. That's the short of it. There's the history and geography of ancient Egypt. It doesn't get any easier. Sixth grade level at best. Welcome to ninth grade. Some of this is just kind of reviewing stuff that you probably could have learned from the Backyardigans. Maybe next time we'll watch an episode of the Backyardigans. I'll see you tomorrow.